Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to learn how to do the other two types of tessellation pieces. And those two types of tessellation pieces are translation glide and rotation. All right. And basically what translation glide means is that whatever you cut off on one side, just like we did the other class, goes to the other side, but then notice it flips over. And same thing, whatever happens on one side goes to the opposite side and flips over. And rotation simply means that whatever you do on one side rotates up to the opposite side. Goes on one side, rotates out to the other side. So just like we did in our other class, we're going to use sticky notes again as our way of creating our tessellation. So I'm just going to grab a sticky note here. I'm going to start with translation glide. So translation glide, once again, I'm going to take my shape. Now let's remember our pointers. Our shape starts on one side and ends on the same side. So again, if I'm doing maybe something different, I'm going to do some triangles here. So I'm going to draw my triangles. Again, here they are. They start on the same side and end on the same side. They do not cross over. They do not touch the other side. Here I go. I'm going to use my pair of scissors. I'm going to cut out my shape very carefully right on the outline that I drew. Now I'm going to translate it to the other side, but I'm going to turn it over so it is in reverse. All right. I'm going to use my little bit of tape to hold it together. And of course, if you're one of my folks who are without tape, you're going to just arrange your pieces and then you are going to trace and cut out. Just like we did with our other class, if you're missing some supplies, we of course can work around that. The only thing we really can't work around is not having scissors. So we do need to cut things out. All right, so I'm going to do this again. I'm going to pick one of my empty sides that I haven't used yet. I'm going to draw my shape, same idea. Remember, I'm sticking to one side only, and it's touching the same side. So I start at the bottom, and I end at the bottom. It does not cross over. It does not touch the other sides. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. Just like I did my other piece. And now it's going to translate to the other side, but it's going to turn over. It's going to be opposite. So you can see my smaller bump is on the other side. And then, of course, I'm going to tape my piece down. And again, if you're one of my folks who does not have tape, remember, you're going to just arrange your shapes, trace around them, and then cut them out from the spare piece of paper underneath. And of course, I'm going to label this translation glide. And of course, I'm going to make sure I snap a picture of this, and you would attach it to the assignment in Google Classroom on that first slide with your other one. So that's translation glide. Our next way of doing a tessellation piece, the third one I'm going to show you, is called rotation. And like I said before, whatever you cut out will rotate up or down to the next side. So let me show you how this goes. Our same rules apply. So whatever you're drawing on your little square here, even if it's a sticky note or just a square piece of paper, you're going to start on one side. You're going to end on that same side. So let me see. Let's go with maybe a couple squares like that. Doing some more complex shapes this time around, just to show you that it doesn't have to always be half a circle, half a heart, half a triangle. It can be something a little more complex than that. Okay, so now that I have my piece cut out, I can either choose to rotate it to the top or the bottom. So you'll have to choose which place you want to rotate it to. So I just simply took it and rotated up. I'm putting that long straight edge from my sticky note right along the edge of my side. Or if I chose to, I could rotate it down like that. All right, so your choice on which side you want to rotate it to. Rotate it up or rotate it down. And again, you're going to use some tape to hold it together. Of course, my friends who are without tape will just be arranging their shapes and then eventually tracing them. So now I'm going to pick one of my empty sides to do the next part. Let's just do a plain old half circle on this one. You can mix and match things up. Wow, that was a little bit of a tongue twister there. Okay, so I'm going to cut it out. Now, I've cut it out. The only side left that I haven't used is my top side. So now I'm going to rotate it up and put it along my top side. And tape it down. Now again, if you're one of my friends who does not have a piece of tape to hold your stuff down, you'll arrange your shapes. You'll use your pen or pencil to just outline right around your shapes like we did in our other class, and then use your pair of scissors to cut it out of the spare piece of tape paper. And of course, I'm going to write rotation on my sticky note. All right. Now, our next session will be talking about how to create your actual tessellation using the tessellation shapes that you have created and how they work together. The easiest one to tessellate with would be translation. Translation, glide, and rotation can be a little bit tricky, but of course they do make some interesting tessellations. So I hope this helps in the creation of your tessellation pieces, and I will see you again for our next session for how to create your tessellation.